into this morning live. As we start out, we know we've got the futures market coming on tonight. The CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, will come back online. I'm doing this update outside in my little bunker area, I guess you could call it, where I do my workout. When I started the live earlier, it said it was going to start at 11:15, so I suspect a lot of people probably aren't going to make their way here initially. But they'll end up finding their way here as we go along. So I greatly appreciate everybody who's tuning in right now. I really, really do. It means a lot to me. I'm outside, it's snowing and sleeting, as you can hear above me. Maybe flipping to sleet, snow, rain. I know it was a lot of snow when I walked out. I got my heaters in here, and I came out here so that my son wouldn't have to deal with this. He's my mom's here, so he's enjoying himself inside, getting his feeding and just hanging out with everybody. So I decided I am going to come out here and I am going to do this technical analysis. I don't know how many people are going to be here. I don't know if nobody's going to be here because the way that I put this out, I accidentally put out that it was going to be out like an hour from now. So that's never good for the analytics. So I put myself in the tank already this morning before I even started. So whether you watch this now or after the live, either way, greatly, greatly appreciated. I'm going to share this right now myself because I didn't even get an alert of my live, which means most of you probably didn't get an alert of my live either. So you're finding it by chance, which is going to suck, but that's the way it goes on YouTube when you're shadow banned. They don't push your content, so I have a very hard time getting it pushed. So if you're watching, make sure to hit that like button. It's so, so greatly important that everybody hits the like button so that everybody can, end up seeing when I put content out, because today's going to be a very important day, and this is of course going to be the day where it's not going to get pushed around like it needs to, or we're just not going to get the viewership we need to. But that's usually what ends up happening when it's at the perfect spot to have a conversation. But we'll see what happens. So let me just finish setting up what I'm setting up. I'll continue to talk about this as we go along. I've got a few of my heaters, but the ones that I turned on that are like a quick 10-minute burst, now I can put my bigger heater on. I just like to stay organized and put all my stuff back. So now I've got, for the hour long here, I've got 2 heaters that'll stay on about 25 minutes apiece, and it'll keep it warm. Could keep it warm. It's what I use when I come out here to work out too, especially in the wintertime. So good morning, everybody. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Like I said, please make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube will pass this around. It's doing a horrendous job passing it around. So we're just going to go through this. If nobody sees it, nobody sees it. And if you see it after the live is out, I commend you. Either way, getting the information is just as valuable, whether you get it during the live itself or what the hell is going on with this? What, this battery's not charged? Oh, there we go. I was going to say there's... Oh, wait, it wasn't charged. Anyhow. So let's get going. It should be a lot easier to... Oh, I guess it's not working. Huh. Well, that sucks. Never mind, I'm down to 1 heater because that one is not turning on. So maybe it's not charged. Well, that'll make it a hell of a lot colder in here, but that's okay. That's okay. Whether it's YouTube nonsense or the world nonsense, there's always nonsense that'll try to keep you from the agenda at hand, let's just say. So, whatever. We'll deal with it. Good morning. 10:26 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, November 9th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I'm very happy with what I'm seeing this morning with the market. Exactly what we were thinking yesterday. Yes, we were on a downturn yesterday, but it looked to be nothing more than a mumbo jumbo. Let's come back down because it's a thinly traded weekend. It didn't look like it was going to break down. Today, right now, Ethereum's up 3.59%, which is a solid indicator that alts could be going higher here. We projected 35.20, and then once it gets over this area, which is right where we're at right now, the next area of major area is going to be up about another $337 to about $3,857. We push out of that, we can go very volatile to the top side, but it remains to be seen if we can break out of this in a momentous way. So we'll wait and see. We'll see how it reacts. Right now we're looking at that 3,520. Can we hold it? Right now we're just over the top. If that holds, we're going to end up moving about $360 farther to the upside. So that's definitely something to pay attention to. Bitcoin right now is up 1.14%, or up $1,226 on the day, up to 103,512. The CME gap for Bitcoin on Friday is just about $500 above. So it's nice to see us trending in that direction. 104,000. Let's see. And like we've been discussing, looks like an inverse pattern there on the breakdown. So we'll see if we can get above 104,525. If we do, we start layering up. And that's where it can get very interesting. As we know, if this is a rising wedge, we're at support right now. And this doesn't technically end until next year. You know, November of 1 year from now. We basically got 1 year we could ride inside of what looks like a possible rising wedge that could eventually break down, but you could stay within it for another year, or you can break out of it or break down. A breakout can be in either direction. Right now we bounced off 98,784, and now we're coming up to that 104,525 next resistance. Looks like a nice little reversal candle, majorly oversold with stochastic in the daily. Weekly time frame is also oversold. So these are not topping indicators. These are more, we're bottoming out, and we have a false reading by a lot of people that think alt season is just over and that the cycle's over. I got news for you. The cycle never started. We've been in the accumulation phase the entire time on most of the altcoins. So the big news here is you didn't miss anything, because everybody who was buying that top, because they didn't buy in before the November breakout last year, 1 year ago, they chased the top while we were waiting for it to come down for 10 months. Bought in a month ago when it had that huge drop. Played this market exactly how it's supposed to be played. And when there's fear, uncertainty, doubt, when there's a bunch of pessimism, when there's a lot of people selling out their positioning for losses because they would rather get rid of the shit, or get rid of this junk, as they would say, at a loss than hold on to it any longer, that's when you know you're on the right track. We know we've been targeting mid-November for the last 9.5 months for the actual bullish start to overtake in a bullish direction. Now, can that take until Q1 of 26? Of course it can, but this is the time when you should be looking for something out of the ordinary to happen. I think these were the easiest trades that we could have made in the last couple. I mean, yesterday I came on, so easy flowing, besides talking about the nonsense of New York, which I'm not getting into today because it's just not worth my time. It's not worth your time either, but it's just not worth the time anymore. So, because it doesn't matter. Nobody listens. So, you can speak till you're blue in the face, but if people are just, it is what it is. So all you can do is make sure you create your own central bank in the times that are coming, which means you have to have gold and silver in your vault, which means that if you're trading crypto on massive profit returns, yes, you keep some in, but take some of it and buy some precious metals, bullion, gold, silver, especially silver right now. Also try to figure out who gets the stuff out of the ground, the commodities, or should I say the mining stocks, and then look at black gold, which is oil. Right now, there's an assault on oil, but by Q2 to 3 next year, it's going to be parabolic. So we've got to find our zones for oil and the exploration companies. Mainly, I like Exxon and a couple others, but as you know, I've got Northern Oil and Gas because it's an American company. Well, at least it's blended that way, let's just say. Nothing's really American anymore. But, you know, when that starts to shoot out, I think that's going to be a more than likely good play there. Others, once again, is outperforming. Well, I guess the total caught up today, but it was outperforming on Friday, which is great. As we know, the others, and we'll get into XRP, I'm just trying to give you a all-around feel of the total crypto market cap, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then we're going to get into some hot and heavy discussions with XRP. I mean, hot and heavy. Beautifully heavy. Right now, the others, which is everything outside of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the top 10, like XRP, USDT, I think Chainlink's still in the top 10, Solana, and some of the other ones. But this is everything outside the top 10 cryptocurrency, and it's starting to have some nice movement here. If we can get over 252.19 billion, that is our line in the sand right now. You get over that, it's a pretty immediate push up. And I'm not saying we're going to come all the way to the top of the resistance, over the top. But what I am saying is this is going to get very volatile very quickly if we, in fact, do break out of here. And it's going to be quick. This will be one of those 15, 20, 30% quick runners by your alt tokens. The ones with actual utility right now. This is going to be a utility play going forward. So, like, when we get into this next run, and I know a lot of people aren't going to show up because they're like, ah, so much red. Why do I need to keep watching? Because, do you want to buy the top? Do you want to buy a dip when it's not actually a dip? Or do you want to buy when it's the real freaking positioning to buy? It's like Dave Ramsey says, do you want to take out a freaking mortgage for 50 years so you can save $300 a month so you can pay 500 grand more over the top? No. Why would you freaking do that? Just like now, why would you take out a buy order when it's a buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, but it's not the actual dip? And then when it gets to the actual dip, no one wants to put the buy order in. So you're paying a premium not to pay for the dip. It's mind-boggling. Don't freaking do that. That's my best way to say it. Don't do that. So now when it's in the area where everybody's nervous, where most people are saying, I'm not touching this ever again, where a lot of people have sold out of their positioning, including XRP nonetheless, this is the time. Every major influencer, not just on YouTube, I don't give a rat's ass if they're on YouTube or across. I really don't. I don't watch any of them anyhow. I just get to see their nonsense that pops up on my feed all the time. But they were all saying, oh, this cycle's over. It's over. Done. No reason to even look at it. Sell your crypto. It's different this time. It's different, huh? Oh, it's going to be so different. It's going to be so different this time. I promise you, it's going to be different, all right? The only difference here is they're wrong, like always. And they're going to be sitting on the sidelines, and they're going to come back in 2 weeks or 2 months and tell you to start buying when it's 60%, 100%, 500% higher with your alt tokens. And then they're going to say, hey, we were watching this the whole time. And we're just going to sit here back and say, well, as all these schlubs come into my community and tell me why I should watch all of these losers, and I'm going to stay on the progressive side, but it's just the way it goes. Sometimes you got to call it for what it is, and we get wreck city. You know why? You know why crypto's wreck city? 99% of the people you turn on are wrong. They tell you to buy when you shouldn't, and they tell you not to buy when you should. How ignorant are some? We're in let's see. We're in yes. Okay. But drive safe. For crypto though, how is it that when we're extremely oversold in the weekly and the daily, now everybody's afraid? But when we're extremely overbought in the weekly and daily, everybody's like, oh, this is a great buy. Somebody please explain that to me. Somebody please explain to me where all these indicators are coming from where it's telling us we're done. This is what you want. How many years have you guys been watching me? March 24th of 2021, and there is nobody in the world, and I am proud to say this, there is not one person in the world who has covered XRP as loyally, as vigilantly, and has put out as much content without a single day off in almost 5 years now. There's not a single person in the world who's put out as much content as religiously and as dedicated and as accurate for XRP as this community. Period. Anybody can say what they want, that's period. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who you talk about. So I take this very seriously while I come here every day. Like, listen, I'm out here in the middle of fucking 30 degrees as it's raining, snowing, and sleeting inside of my little workout area. It's not very warm. I got my little heater, but it is not that warm in here because I'm dedicated. And my son he's with my mom. And they're hanging out because I had Julie's sister's wedding last night, which we came home. But my mom stayed overnight because she didn't want to drive back home, which I don't blame her. But now we're out here doing this again. You know, and I see a lot of pessimism. And whenever I see pessimism, it gets my blood boiling. Especially when it's at this time of the market. When I see people telling people not to buy, when it's at certain parts, it makes my head spin. Like, it's like, what? Why? Who? When, where, and how are we telling people this? Where the hell is my heat liquidation map? Why isn't it showing it? It's all this crap it's showing. I don't want all that crap. So crypto, we'll go back into the liquidation in a sec. Crypto fear and greed index, as we suspected, 22 extreme fear. Imagine everybody's jumping off the roof and jumping out the window and bailing on crypto when we're in extreme fear. We've never ended a cycle ever in the history of crypto when we were in extreme fear. Ever. We've also never had a top put in on Bitcoin when it was supposed to break down when we're extremely oversold in the weekly and daily. It's just never happened. So, I mean, if we start to do a first, hey, I'll be the first to say I'm wrong. But, you know, I don't suspect that's what's going to happen here as we go long term. I don't at all. I suspect as we go out and we start looking back at the past, we're going to look at it and say, what were we so afraid of? We're not going to say that, but most people are going, what the hell are we afraid of? We become fearful when we should be, you know, positive. And when we should be pessimistic, we become, you know, positive. It's human nature. When things are going up, you want to buy. When things are going down, you say this is a pile of trash. Same reason why you buy the fancy new car every year, or the fancy phone, and all this other crap you can't afford. Because, look, I'm a hero, right? I bought this new item. It just, oh, look, I got my new Apple phone. That's the same as the last 17 generations. That's finally catching up to my Samsung. You know, that's, I got to have the newest vehicle. I got to have this electric piece of shit that uses lithium, which is the most dangerous substance to mine in the world. But, oh, let's bring lithium to the USA. I mean, you know, that's exactly what's happened. And now with crypto, hey, we've got a time of opportunity. This is the biggest pile of shit. Jim Cramer says, hey, it's going to go down. Where we finally, it's the start of the bear market. Hello? You need any other signal? Jim Cramer always tells you what's going to happen just the wrong way. So, I see a lot of pessimism, and I love it. Feed me the fire. Is there any other pessimistic people in this audience today? Please let me know why crypto sucks. Might be making another purchase. Got some nice movement going on today. 51.7% still going short. Unbelievable in the last 24 hours. 48.2% going long. I mean, they're getting slaughtered with Ethereum going short in the last 24 hours. I mean, absolutely slaughtered. Ethereum is where we at right now. 3.8%. On a 10x trade, you're down 40%. On a 20x trade, you're down 80%. On a 25x trade, you might as well just cash out. You're already done. You've been liquidated. The average retail investor averages a 35x leverage trade, and I'll continue to spew these points out because, you know, if you're in my audience and you're getting taken through leverage, well, you only have the onus on yourself because I vehemently am against it. But I will still support your actions if you understand how to trade in a volatile market. Just like I've seen some of our most progressive people in my audience that know the charts the best, who are now starting to say we're going to go into a long-term bear market. But at the same time, these same people were saying how we're about to break out parabolically. But now that it's dumped out and scared everybody, they've become scared. Stop being scared to my audience. Look at the charts. Look at the charts. Look at the setup. Look at the fear and greed index. Look at the liquidity heat map zones. Like, what about this market is scaring you at, okay, so Bitcoin could go to 92. Good. If it were to drop out and we make a new low at 98.4 or whatever, which we already hit our first area we had to hit at 98 and some change. That was the key point. And we've said it a time and time and time again. If we can hold this structure, we formed either it's an ascending triangle or an ascending wedge or rising wedge. But it goes out until November of next year. We are worried about the wrong stuff. 98,700 was such a gatekeeping buy opportunity across the board. Nobody's buying it. You should look at some of these buy orders. Retail has literally checked the hell out. It's unbelievable. I have not seen Bitcoin this oversold since that massive run up. I think we're at about 70K and we went all the way to 127 or 125. We had a 55,000 point move on Bitcoin the last time we were this oversold. The time before that, we went from about 50K to 100K when we were this oversold. So excuse me for not buying into all that bullshit, basically, is what we can call it. Sorry about my language this morning, but it's mind-boggling. It happens every single rotation. It doesn't matter how long you've been watching me, you will always think I'm wrong when it's about to be right. And you'll always think I'm right when it's about, yeah, it never ends. I can tell you in January until I'm blue in the face why you need to sell and why we've topped for now, and everybody will keep buying, and I'll tell you the exact thing 10 months later, at the exact point, 2 weeks into November, we were predicting why it's looking a lot better than it was, and everybody's just going to disregard it. We've got the core group. This doesn't include the core group of the audience, which is a couple hundred people at that. But the core audience understands what's going on and is getting ahead. Unfortunately, though, there's more than just the core audience that comes in. A lot of people come in from other communities, you know, and they bring up all the other community stuff, and then we've got to talk about why it's wrong, and then I get hated on, and then 700 people unsubscribe, and then they just resubscribe once it does what I say. But it's just an annoying feat, you know. It becomes a little bit debilitating because you're trying to help out, and then people are like, when it's the right time and when it's the wrong time, calling you a dick no matter what you do, even though you're right. So we'll just continue to push forward and see if anybody wants to join. Right now, XRP has no reason not to go up to 256 area. Unless it breaks down and takes a new low out at 204, which is fine. If it does that, we know that we're going down to $1.77 to $1.82, and that probably means Bitcoin broke down and lost 98.4K and is going down to 92. That's fine. We're okay with that. Understanding that it could go all the way down into the plus 50,000 range, like 72, then 56. We understand that, but right now, it's going to be very hard to get down there when you're extremely set up, and, well, I mean, not extremely oversold, but when you're, well, I guess in the weekly we are, but it is setting up more for a parabolic spike. Just like on Friday, we talked about when it was dropping Thursday night, how it was set up for a short squeeze. And then what happened? Friday, short squeezed up. Saturday, drops back down on a thinly traded weekend, which is exactly what we thought was going to happen. Back test that 224, 225 area. See if we can hold. Epic, I mean, when you start looking at clearouts, Epic did an epic one, let's just say. From yesterday to today, what it did, and that is not a horrible looking candle. Went all the way up overzealously to over 84 on a thinly traded Saturday. Came all the way back down overnight to 68 cents, clearing out every bit of leniency. So if you were a leverage trader, you got smoked. You got absolutely smoked. I don't care if you're going long or short, you got smoked. And I see a lot of people that talk about leverage trading in our community, but I never see them show the losses, still to this day. We talk about how easy it is. We talk about why it's better than spot or why we can do it because we don't have as much money. You know, 95% of retail that trades loses in leverage. 95. Let that sink. So if there's 100, okay, how many people are watching? There's 102 people, which, you know, there'll probably be 55 at the end, but there's 102 right now. Which means if we go by this ratio, if 102 of us trade leverage, 5 or 7 of us are going to do good. You want to take those odds? It's like if you're in college right now, look to the left, look to the right. All 3 of you, your degrees are useless for the most part. So you got 10 people, 0.1 of you, the degree is good. Because the world's changing. Finance is changing. This is all changing. This is the most opportunistic time in the history of humankind. Outside of when we went off the gold standard, because the people who understood not to get rid of their gold, when it was a voluntary give back, just like remember the old gun give back? You know, this is mandatory. You got to give your guns back. That's the same thing they said with gold years ago. It wasn't mandatory. In fact, the ones who didn't give it back are the ones who are the most wealthy. Just like with crypto, they tell you it's not time, it's all bullshit, it's all scam, blah, blah, blah. Which it is. There's no doubt about it. There's no real, like, honestly, all we're doing is it's a digital movement. We're moving digital payments. And yeah, I got asked yesterday by Julie's dad, and he said, well, how can this stuff go up if there's no earnings, you can't hold them, there's no tangibility with it? Why? I don't understand how the price goes up. I'm like, the easiest thing I can tell you is, you're not wrong, you can't hold it, there's no earnings, there's nothing that will tell you that it's got any real value. It's all speculation and conjecture at the finest regard. Crypto is nothing more than a series of code, which each individual token slightly different, but basically does the same thing. So XRP, XLM, XDC, apples to orange. I mean, it's basically, we could talk about this until we're blue in the face, but then people are going to say, oh, XRP, no, you hate XRP. No. I love XRP more than anybody on this planet. And you know how I can tell you that for the truth? I've been doing this every single day, regardless of how I feel, and regardless of how people make me feel, since March 24th of 2021, without a day off. I put out 6,100 videos. Every single day I'm here, regardless. You can't pick one day I haven't been here, and you won't be able to unless I'm dead. So, you know, if our Lord and Savior provides, I'm going to continue to put out this info. So I know that I love XRP. I know that I'm at the forefront of crypto when it comes to, not innovation, because it's been out long before I started my channel, but at the time and history we're in, you need a righteous voice that actually tells you what's actually going on. You really do. Otherwise, you're going to get caught up just in the same way as everybody else does. Do you want to be like everybody else? Or do you want to make a name for yourself? Do you want to go work and go do the same damn thing every single day for the rest of your life like everybody else does from the time they're 16 to 65? Get up at 7, go to work 8 to 4, 9 to 5, 10 to 6, 11 to 7, 12 to 8, work midnights, work afternoons for no freaking gain? No, take some of that wealth. And it might be small wealth. I know how it is. I was in the same position not too long ago. And I am still fighting my positioning with all of you. But the reason why you need to have an hourly job or actually have a job is so that you can invest in some of this stuff. It's the bottom line. Going to work, it's more than just a zero-sum game. I'm going to work, I'm paying my bills. The ones who go to work, pay their bills, and save nothing and just spend it all, yeah, you're going to be doing it forever and you're never going to get ahead. That's the way it goes. It's also the reason they started government assistance in this country. They knew, and all you have to do is look at the CASA. They're the ones who started this. The same people who are taking over in New York. They wanted government assistance in the USA because they knew once you go on government assistance, there's loopholes. Okay, you're on government assistance. Now you can't make enough. You can't be successful enough or they take away your assistance. So now what do people do? I'm not going to work. I want my free food. I want free insurance. I want free housing that I basically live in a shit-infested shithole. How about bet on yourself? Stop using the excuses. Like, that's my point. We got to quit making excuses all the time as a people. We've got opportunity right here every single day. That's what you put into it and what you take out of it. Sometimes I got to come in here and I got to be ball-breaking Tom because I just see a divide that's too great. Just seeing the divide is too great now. Like everybody bitching and moaning about the rich people. Hey, these big business, these billionaires are the reason why we're poor. Are you freaking morons? No, it's not. They're the ones who are giving you a chance to get out of poverty. Just like here every single day, you want a chance out of poverty? Come in here an hour and deal with this every single day. And watch the 4 pieces of content or 3 pieces of content outside of this. And just stay in tune. You know, they want you to think all the ways that you can get ahead are all bad. So let me ask you a question. What are you going to do if there's no billionaires and millionaires that have these businesses? Where are you going to go clock in? You're not a business owner. You're not a small business owner. How are you going to go clock into work and do what you got to do if all these people are scumbags? You ever think maybe you're not thinking correctly if you have that mindset? No, you want to take off the teat of me. You're not sucking off my tit anymore or anybody else's. What you're going to do is you're going to get up. You're going to wipe off the dust off of your face. You're going to take the little sandman out of your eyes. You're going to take a shower. You're going to slap yourself in the face a few times if you got to. You're going to get a nice shave. Women, you're going to do your hair nice. You're going to go out and you're going to go try to do something successful every day. That's what you're going to do. Otherwise, you're going to fall behind. And next year, it's going to be even more expensive to live. By 28, you think you've seen anything yet? And we top over the wrong way. So the point here this morning is take advantage of the opportunity. Take advantage of what others don't want. This has been the single easiest 2 months of gains that I've ever had in my crypto career. January was the single easiest sell I ever had in crypto. And flipped into gold and silver with all of you, with the commodities. And now it's that flip again. As we talked about on that historical drop. Okay, we're going to clear out historic liquidation, but it's not going to come back up and clear some of these gaps. I mean, come on now. Remember? Don't buy, Tom. Don't buy. BCB, the business conglomerate bullshitter, told us not to buy. You know, hey, I don't know what to tell you. But that 3-letter guy has never been right, and he's cost the audiences a bunch of money. That's why we call him the business conglomerate bullshitter. At least today we do. And there's a lot of people that are in the same narrative. They make a shitload of money, don't get me wrong. because they make it off of you. It's the way it goes. You either are the sheep or you're the wolf. Unfortunately, I'm the freaking elephant. And I may be bigger than everybody and know more than my surroundings, but I'm like an elephant. I get scared by a rat. Or a mouse. So, or at least my audience does. If anything, take the confidence out of this. Take the confidence. Have I wavered since that drop, or have I showed you the exact ways to buy, the exact top to sell, the resistance after the incredible push-up, the exact spot to buy the bottom? Am I showing you the exact spot it should go up? And am I showing you what to be cautious about just in case it reverses? You've got every part of it. You came in here and didn't have to pay a red cent this morning. You know why? Because I don't charge you. Am I underpaid and underappreciated? Well, yeah, that's the way it goes in life when you're trying to help people. But you're not underappreciated. If one person appreciates you, and I'm appreciated by way more than one person in here, I think you're well compensated with appreciation. It doesn't need to be a 10 billion people. I just need my core. If the core who comes here every day is doing good, and they understand what's going on in the world, I've done my job. I get messages all the time that say, don't you hate coming here every day? Isn't it a little, you know, what's the right word that I want to use? Isn't it a little, tedious that you have to? No, I don't have to be here. I get to be here. Do you understand that? When you build something for yourself, you don't have to be there. You want to be there. You get to be there. Like if you're at work, you don't have to be there. You get to be there. Change your mindset. I get to be here and make a little bit of money or currency, an IOU, but I can take this unit of debt and I can invest into myself if I understand what the hell is going on. The whole point of what I do. Do a lot of people misunderstand what I do? Sure they do, but that's okay. I'm okay. Sometimes you gotta say what you gotta say. What's going on? I'm telling people what needs to happen. I'm telling them you should go back to the beginning, Frankie Fresh, is what I would tell you. And thanks for being in Tom Zone for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Janine, I hope you're having a fantastic and blessed day as well. I hope, Frankie Fresh, your hand is moving ever so slightly. Yeah, it's snowing, raining, and sleeting you're hearing. A lot of this that you're hearing is because the water's dripping off the tree and it's landing on here, but it's actually snowing. If you watch my my short from this morning, you'll see how hard it was snowing. It might be switching now. What's the temperature? Let's see. Yeah, it's starting to, it's 34, so we're getting that sleet now. Sleet and rain. Joseph Euler, thank you so much for the $6 or the being in Tom's Zone for 6+ months with the XRB Predictor. And also gifting a sub. Wow. Sir James gets the gifted sub. How awesome is that? Alex Carbonelli, welcome in, and thanks for being in town for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Says it's also the same way over there in Wisconsin. Yeah, it's getting pretty interesting out here, that's for sure. And it's going to be the same way tomorrow and Tuesday, so my son's going to have an interesting couple of days. He's not very happy because he wants to go outside. But sorry, son, this is get sick weather, so you are not going outside in this. So he made me come outside. He said, Dad, if I'm not going outside, you're not doing your live inside. You're going outside. I'm like, oh, man. So I guess I'm going to go into my workout area, which isn't so bad. Of course, my heater wasn't charged all the way, so I only got 25 minutes, so it's already done. So I don't get my other 25. So now I get the freeze. Almost looks like a nice inverse head and shoulders here. That should bring us up to... The first area is going to be 257. And then... the next area you're going to want to watch, and this is truthful, like, we got to get obviously back into my demand zone because we're right in the middle. We're kind of like in no man's land, but we got 254, but that's after 242. We built a narrative here. If you've been here for a few days, we've got every section teetered out here. So we got 242. Watch this. If you just come in here, write these down. Next resistance, right? You don't have to do shit. Really, you don't have to do anything. If we continue this trajectory up, buy formation setup, you've got $2.43, $2.42-ish. I'll say $2.43. You break out of that, your immediate resistance now ends up being $2.57. You get past that, you've now got to get past this 262 and above. And then that's how you can break the 291. But we know we've got technical movements here if we do break out. We know the biggest technical movement out of this little consolidation It'll start to get us into that almost $3 plus range if we can get over all these areas. But this is how you need to look at this today. Not one chart overtakes them all. It's all of them working in unity, see? Well, Tom, how can we know if it goes one way or the other? Well, you don't stick to one chart. I come on here every single day with how many different XRP charts? I've got 1, 2, 3 actual charts of, no, 4 charts of XRP. I've got the XRP market cap, which makes 5. I've got the XRP futures, which makes 6. I've got the XRP Bitcoin pairing, which makes 7 just on XRP. And that's what you want. It's cold and snowy in Illinois too for Mr. Euler. Joseph, stay warm, my friend. Stay warm as I'm gonna, woo! It's like the Eskimo out here. It's actually not horrible, but it's getting worse and worse by the minute. Because my heater is not working. Because somebody unplugged it and they unplugged my second heater and didn't tell me. Probably my mom. But anyhow, that's a lot of the stuff I wanted to talk about this morning. I think I got through a lot of the stuff I really wanted that was on my that was in my head. Sorry guys, 80 and sunny here. Mr. Kennedy, 80 degrees, huh? Soon we'll be seeing 8 degrees. We won't be seeing 80 degrees here for about the next 7 months. Let's see, all of November, December, January, February, March, April, about 7 months we might see 80 again. It's only downhill from here in Michigan, but if you like snow, it's nice. You know, of course, gets a little interesting here in Michigan. Let's see. Jay, welcome in and thanks for being in town. Here, let me say hi to a few of you here this morning. How about that? Let me get off of the rant and let me just say hello. Dan Marginal, Shane, Alec Tony, good morning. And Shane, I seen your message this morning. I didn't get a chance to respond because I was trying to get this set up. But I definitely seen your message. I appreciate it, and God bless you, my friend. Thank you all of you for being in town during 3+ months of the XP Media, along with Dennis Smith. Mark Casson, good morning. Thanks for being in town for over 1 year with you. I told you so bad. Iram, welcome in. Lori, good morning. Areli, welcome in, love. John Hall, good morning. 80 degrees there in Georgia for you. Let's see, for who said it was 80 degrees? Let's see. Was that Mrs. Stott who said it's 80 degrees there, or was that because it reset on me? This is why I can't always go back to the top, because YouTube likes to reset when I'm looking at it. Good morning. Is it true that Trump just announced a $2,000 stimulus check for basically everyone? I don't know. I don't know. If he did, that is great for risk assets. Trump proposes $2,000 tariff dividend for most Americans. Oh, God. Because we can afford to give everybody $2 grand. Let's see what this schlub is. Let's see. I don't hate Trump. I just hate what he's doing now. He completely flipped what he was the first time. Because he's controlled by what? The CBs. No, not the dispatchers from the semi. The actual central banks. Remember, right or left? Woo! You're on each side of the devil's horn. Choose wisely. President Donald Trump announced on Truth Social a plan to distribute at least $2,000 per person to most Americans. Isn't this how the pandemic starts? Excluding high-income earners, using revenues from escalated tariffs on imports from China, Mexico, and other countries. Why lie to us, though? Let me explain to my audience one more time, in case you're not educated enough, or if you're just not understanding and you just don't have the knowledge. It's not your fault. We get taught bullshit in school. So, when he puts a tariff on Mexico or China and we're importing their items, we, me, you, everybody who buys the item pays that tariff. Not China, not Mexico, not the aliens, not Kryptonian, nobody. The only person who pays it is us. Now, if we're exporting to that country and there's a tariff, they pay it. We don't export shit. The only thing we export is our food. That's real smart. We don't have anything to export. We don't do nothing. We're useless. This country is useless. And that's why we're going to become a bunch of AI robots soon. Well, the people are already robots, so it's not much. They'd rather sit home anyhow and collect their universal income in their 17 square foot apartment instead of doing something. The proposal aims to address the 37 trillion national debt. How? How does this address it? If you take anyhow, I digress. 37 trillion national debt with fiscal year 2025 tariffs collections reaching 195 billion through October, 150% increase from the prior year, which means you're paying that much more. Economist highlights that tariff raise costs for U.S. consumers and businesses, while supporters see it as an economic boost and critics warn of potential inflation. Yeah, of course. Of course supporters see it as an economic boost because they want a bunch of free shit like I always talk about. Stop asking for free stuff, okay? And then bitching out the other side of your mouth that everything's too expensive or you can't make it. Well, stop begging for free stuff. How about that? How about that? Anyhow, crypto fear and greed index, extreme fear. XRP liquidation map continues to speak of this over-the-top liquidation at around $2.70 if we take the upward trajectory. Now, however, if we take it in the weekly, you can see some lower liquidity, right? It might be the weekly or the daily. Yeah. So we've got this little liquidity hub that's forming right around $2.15-ish. So there's definitely a little hub down there. There's more up here still in the 240s range, and then you get more in the 270s. But it looks like we're building this inverse pattern still. So, I don't know. Anthony Venegas got an alert. Excellent. Excellent. How are we looking, Tom? We're looking pretty good. I wouldn't go, but it's crypto friendly. I mean, we're looking okay, honestly. No different than what I've been saying the last few days. Now, if we break down certain areas, obviously that can change the trajectory of what we're thinking. But right now, Ethereum up 3.3% today is exactly what I would expect to see. Bitcoin tugging back up is a good sign. XRP pulling around that little reversal is fine. We've got the CME that's up at 238. It's not guaranteed you're going to fill it. It's not like it's not as guaranteed as like filling a fair value gap, the FEG. Sometimes you use the CMEs as a point of resistance or a point of support so you can continue on, and then you just leave it in the dust and it clears on its own. But right now we're within a relatively good area. I don't see anything that irritates me with the charts right now. In fact, I see a lot of things that make me happy. SHX had gone up and it re-cleared out that entire move. And now we'll see if it can reverse back up. We're going to have to try to make a new high at like 115 though to try to... So it's a little bit of movement still here. There's about a... What is that? About 7 to 8% it's still got to go up to retake that area. A lot of the similar things happened across crypto though this weekend. Linnea still looks fine. It's outside of that channel. And if it pushes up, the next big area of pushing up is going to be around that 1926 once we start to break out. And then ultimately, let's see where this is at in real time. Yeah, look at that. I'm going to delete this. That's perfect. 1926, 1950, so it's lining up now. So that's good. Still a lot to happen here with Linnea. There's so much. It's still so early. Tomorrow, for Linnea, just ready, open the ears. Tomorrow, 2.08 billion tokens approximately get released into the Linnea ecosystem on the 10th of November, I believe it is. So, just pay attention to that. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, let's see what else do. My mom's here, so I'm going to end this shortly because I want to go make sure she's good and I want to see her before she leaves. XTC is doing this inverse pattern perfectly. The next area to come up to, which we thought it was a great buy on Winning Wednesdays at 5.1, 5.2 area. And for anybody who bought their first one in Winning Wednesdays around 5.2-ish, at least you've got some upward volatility from your first one. We'll be doing it every Wednesday. I am personally doing $250 a week on Wednesday until XTC hits 10 cents, and I have over 200,000 tokens already. So if that shows a sign of scared, I'm a scaredy cat. see. Yeah, that's basically it, because I want to go make sure my mom's good. I want to make sure she's got everything she needs. I want to clear off her car and do what I got to do before she leaves, if she does leave soon. The Bitcoin dominance is down under 60, but... and it looks like we could be finally setting this up. We actually finally came up and did all this nonsense, right? This week. We came up this week. Finally did this. We finally came back up here like we thought we were. Now, if this ends up being a bearish flag here... This bear flag is going to allow us some sustainability with alts. Watch this. Remember, nobody can predict whether or not it's actually going to play out in this fashion, but if 58.9%, so that's going to start this trajectory down. If it starts like this, that's what we want to see. We want to see this little bear flag, if that's what it's starting to be. You know, we want it to start looking something like this. Watch. You'll get... And then you'll go... And you want to see something like this. Right? You want, if that's a bear flag, if that's what's setting up, that's what you want to see. And that's going to allow us that little bit of a push up here with our altcoins. And you should see the total 3 and the others start to rise up. Speaking of the total and total 3, we talked about the others. The total crypto market cap's up 1.55%, bouncing off the 3.37 support, which is so ironically easy to understand. And if it breaks down, it goes to 255. If it holds this, it goes to 437. That's 4.37 trillion, which means you had $1 trillion. What do you think the alts could do with $1 trillion added? I don't know, because this is the total crypto market cap. So Bitcoin and Ethereum will probably be doing good. The total 3 outside of everything but Bitcoin and Ethereum. I mean, like I said, these have been pretty easy to predict. It came up, bounced around. We knew it had to come back down and try to hold 891 or 890, which it has, 888, 886. Now the next transitional period back up would be to come back up to 1.2 trillion. That's a $400 billion or $340 billion move. So just pay attention to this. I would be much more positive than negative. Even if it breaks down here, pay attention to our levels, because we very well could have a moment where it collapses. But just pay attention to the numbers. And then if you've got to get out of the way of something, you know where to get out of the way. And if you want to add or if you want to invest in something, you know exactly how to do it. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Be blessed, everybody. I'm going to go hang out with my mom for a little bit. I don't get to see her all the time. So be blessed. I'll be back hopefully tonight, as long as everything's going good and we can see how